I just want to take this off my face. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elixir and I have a very fun video planned today. So during this quarantine, I figure there's probably no excuses anymore, and because I have so much time on my hands, I probably should get back to some consistent uploads. So today, I am going to be doing my makeup, but I am going to be doing two split sides. My makeup has come a long way since I started, and a long way since I had my first signature face, because I have had a few different signature drag faces throughout my career, and I today want to draw back to one of my very first ones, which I can probably identify was around the time that I was competing on my first season of Drag House Race. So as I said, I'm going to be splitting my face in half, and this half I'm going to do my regular, like, up-to-date makeup, and on this side I'm going to be doing my old style. Everybody just comment RIP in the comments right now, because this is going to be interesting. Now before I get into this, I'm just going to ask you guys to follow my Instagram at ElixirOfficial if you want to see more content than is on here, because I post about 2 to 3 times a week on my Instagram, so just head on over there if you want to see some more of my content. Make sure you leave a like on this video, a comment, because I would love to see your guys' comments, and subscribe to my channel. And hit that bell notification so that you get to see every single time I post. It'll send you a little notification. It's cute, I promise. So, without any further ado, I'm gonna get right into this video. So, my face is already moisturized, so the first thing I'm gonna do is my brow blocking. So, I'm just going to be on both sides putting a equal layer of glue. You go in circles, you go all around, all throughout the hair. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is brush it up. So for the first one, I'm going to brush it up, taking any excess glue like that, and then I'm immediately going to press down. And then here on this other side, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. But I'm not going to take a lot of time on it, because in my old mindset, the faster you did it, the better. So I'm just going to go in with now another coat of glue on both sides. I'm going to leave it on this side. On this side for the second coat, I'm going to go in with my finger again to smooth it. And once again for an immediately after third coat. And then I'm going to take a translucent powder and I'm going to press that on. Now on the updated side, I'm going to go and I'm going to put one more glue layer. I'm leaving that once again, I'm not doing anything yet. And on the second layer, this is why my brows used to be so bad. And I've talked about the powder between coats thing a few times. You don't powder between coats because it'll create more clumps and more oatmeal brow. But I didn't know that back then. I thought the more layers you put, the stronger protection you had. And so here we go again. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put the glue stick over the powder. And then immediately set it again. Oh, wild. And now that this brow has gotten a good amount of coats on it, I'm going to be going in with a banana powder. A banana powder. And firmly and evenly pressing that into my brow. How homophobic would it be if I got to the end of this and the first brow is better? No. Okay, so now I have the two sides of my brows on the first coat done. So I'm going to be going and dusting off any excess powder from this side, and then I'm going to go in with the glue again. And on my new side, I'm going to take some Pros-Aid, and I am going to place that onto my brow like this. Not too much. And I'm going to spread this a little bit, and then start pressing it down really hard. And then I'm going to be taking the Pros-Aide and I'm going to be going in and doing a second coat. And then I'm going to take one last bit of powder and go right over top. So our next step is to go in with foundation, and I think this is the time to mention the biggest difference from my old makeup to my new makeup was that my old makeup, I used to paint myself white. Because I didn't really know how to paint myself my actual shade. I didn't know about all of the tutorials, and I just thought that because there were Aquarias and Violet Chachkis, this was really the only way to do it. So I'm going to be taking this white foundation and spreading it all over my face. So I'm just putting this color on the one side of my face for my old side of my makeup. This shade is so Caspery. Oh my god. Just put it everywhere. Now for my other side, I'm going to take my Unique Touch foundation. And I'm going to lay that all over my face. So I now do the base of my face just a shade darker than my actual skin tone, and I use my highlights to brighten my face and my original base shade as sort of my contour shade. Whereas my old face, I painted white and then added really dark contour and even brighter highlight. So just going in with my foundation right now, I'm going to put on a second coat because this is a mid-coverage foundation. I'm gonna bring it right over my brow cover, over my whole face here. So for my next step on my old side, I'm going to take this Anastasia stick. This is in the shade Mink, and I'm going to put it like that, and some dots along the forehead and along the jaw. And I'm gonna blend this out. So I'm going to bring this contour like that and sort of lay it onto my face like this and blend it up. I used to think this looked so good, and it is not the case now. So I'm going to be taking now a lighter shade, and I'm just going to cover the whole area here, and do a really strong line right under here. I'm gonna blend this out. So I just sort of went in and blended enough that it would gradiate a bit. I remember back around this time, a lot of people used to criticize how white my makeup is, and they told me, and they were like, girl, like, your white is shit, like, you need to tone down your colors and actually get yourself some more honey shades. And I was so petrified to do that, and I don't know, like, I painted like this for a good year, and it was only, I think, around February, March of the last year that I started to move more towards my current face. So I'm going to take this same light shade. I used to use the Anastasia stick for both the contour and highlight on this side. I ran out of the Anastasia highlight, and I eventually switched over to the L'Oreal one because I liked their formula more. It's a little bit more creamy and easy to blend out. So I switched to L'Oreal. So I'm sorry I don't have that product for this video, but so I'm going to be going in and blending this out. Even then, the highlight is not the same kind of white that this side is. So then I just blend this out, and I take some time here to make sure that I'm actually just really concentrating my my highlight in here instead of bringing it too far out of my face, because then it makes my face look really wide and jutted. So I'm going to be going in and doing this part. But instead of leaving this as a starched line, I'm going to go and take the darker Beauty Blender, and I am going to blend out that contour spot. So I'm going to take my concealer, and it's the Maybelline Master Conceal, and I'm going to be placing just a very tiny amount on my under eye, and a tiny amount on my brow, and a tiny amount just in these spots. And I'm going to blend these out. And this just brightens the very center point of my face, but not my entire highlight zone. And now on this side, I'm going to be taking a little bit of white Mehron cream and using that as my concealer. Okay, this is basically the cream layer for both sides of my face, and I'm going to be moving on to baking. So I'm going to take a translucent powder. I have a compact translucent powder now. It used to be just baby powder, but I no longer use that for my face because it does cause clown lung and is a carcinogen. So I'm going to be using this today, okay? Sorry. And then on the other side of my face, I'm going to be taking my banana powder, and I'm just sort of putting a good layer here, along our chin, along this zone. Now I'm going to be going and brushing off all of my setting powder. I used to take my contour. I had a palette much like this, but it was from the dollar store. I no longer have it, but it was pretty much the same thing. The NYX one is just creamier. But I used to take the two light shades here, and I would just sort of place these powders with a brush to blend it out. Yeah. So for this side, I'm going to be taking my lighten shade and then these two shades, and I am going to press that into where I have placed the highlight spots in my face. I'm going to go and I'm going to sort of lightly brush over where I put those compact powders, just to take away any excess. So I'm going to be moving on to contour. I'm basically going to be taking these two more mid-tone contour shades and sort of brushing like this and buffing them towards the center of my face in a sweeping motion like that. As you can see, my new style is a lot more toned down than my last style. It's a lot more subtle, a lot more feminine, a lot more face reshaping rather than just like carving out. But drag changes, drag changes. So now on this side, I'm going to be taking the darkest shade, obviously, and I'm going to be stamping it on the outside and then dragging it in. So then I'm just going to be going in, stamping this all over the damn place. And then I'm going to go and take these light shades and try and balance it out a bit. And do that. Now I'm going to be taking my contour, and I didn't really think about where I put it on my chin. I just wanted it on my chin. So it went there. And on this side, I do take the darkest shade, but I hug it down like this. And then I just sort of take this area right here down because I have a very square jaw. Not square, it's an angular jaw. And I just sort of brush it out like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cream on a small beauty blender and I'm going to put it on my brow bone. And I'm going to blend it like this. So that's actually way more cream than I actually need. So in my new style, I take this brush here and I take a little bit and I sort of mat the area I want. And I just sort of place the cream like this. Then afterwards I go in with this tiny blender. And I blend this out. Now, the reason that I don't really need this much cream is all this is going to do is make it harder for the eyeshadows to actually do anything. And the powder does enough job of actually solidifying the white anyways without the white needing to be that opaque. So I put the powder on and that's as white as it needs to be. But over here, oh boy. So for my old style, I used to put my brows on first before I did my eyeshadow. So that's what I'm gonna do here. My brows were nothing special. I used to just sort of do a point, point, point. And I would always like make it a lot uglier than it needed to be. And I would do this in cream. And then I'd do this. And then this is essential for anybody trying to recreate my old makeup style. I don't know why you'd want to, but I always did, hold on. I brought it right to the edges, and then I did sort of this little line.
You better stop!
Line. I did this little double dash thing. So I'm gonna go in with a light shade so I can clean that up. So you can see that I have my powders reintroduced to my face because it is eyes time. So for my old face, my favorite palettes were this NYX Ultimate palette and this Huda Beauty Electrifying Obsessions palette. I've since kind of moved on from both palettes. I don't use them as often, so it's gonna be fun to go in and play, but unfortunately I have to do the eyeshadow I would have done back then. So I'm going to be taking the NYX palette and I'm going to take this purple shade and I'm going to sort of start just laying this all over. And I'm going to be mixing that shade with the two purple shades in this palette. I didn't do a lot of separating my colors or blending. I just mixed everything together that was one pigment and tried to get as much as I possibly could onto my eye. So I'm just taking these shadows and sort of placing them on my eye like this. And then I'd sort of take it and blend it up like that. Now, once I sort of had something like this on, I'd consider that almost done, and I would move right into my crease. Now I'm going to do this side of my face, and I'm going to be taking this purple on an angled brush, and the palette that I'm more using now, or my palette of choice, is the James Charles palette from Morphe. There's just a lot of shade range. It's not my exact favorite, and I'm planning to get something new soon because I'm sort of over how difficult it is to blend pressed pigment, but it has really taught me how to be patient. And I'm going to take that same shade on a packer brush, and I'm going to go in and just sort of pack that where I put the line. That. So now that I have that, I'm going to be taking a loose brush and I am going to go in and sort of pack that into the corner. and smoke it out. I'm gonna bring this in. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to take the lighter shade of purple, which I believe is called Skip. Or wait, no. Is it the pink one? I don't know shade names. I never know shade names. And I'm going to go in and sort of place that right along the top of where the darker color is. So now I'm going to take a brush with nothing on it, and I'm going to blend that color up. And then taking a white and smoking out the top. So now that I have this shape, I'm going to be going in with the purple and just sort of bringing it down gently into the center of my eye, while continuing to sort of flick it outwards and blend. So this is basically side 1 and side 2. So I'm going to be going in on my old side, and I'm going to start cutting the crease. So the Mehron cream was not what I originally used to cut my crease. I used a Lock-It concealer from Kat Von D, but I ran out of that and I never bought any more because, you know, Kat Von D. So I'm just going to be going in and drawing something like this. So then the next thing I would do is I would start putting in some blue shimmer. So I take the shimmer from this Huda Beauty palette and start sort of sliding that in. And then I would take some white and then almost bring the blue like right into the white. Wow. Okay, and now I'm gonna cut the crease on my other side. I just want to take this off my face. I'm gonna take it on the other side, and I'm going to be going in and just sort of placing my crease right at the start of my corner. And then I'm going to go and make a big round and then I just sort of pull all that cream down towards the center. So then now I'm going to be going and spraying a brush with my NYX setting spray and taking the highlight color from the James Charles palette, and I'm going to go in and press that at the start of my crease. Blend it out like that. And then I'm going to take a dark blue and punch that into the outer side of the crease here. I'm going to put some setting spray on this brush and get up the darker blue glitter from the James Charles palette and start to layer that in. Swatch some directly into the center there. And then blend it out with the matte blue. And then clean up the intersection. So for liner, on my old side, I used to sort of do this big...
No! God, please, no! No! No!
No! Used to do this big, strong cat eye, and then I would... Well, it's not a cat eye, it's a crud eye, but... I did it almost straight out. Like that. I'm going to be... Where'd my liner go? Oh, there it is. I'm going to take my liner on this side, and I'm going to start by drawing a curved line. And then I go halfway in. And I start to draw a line outwards. Then I sort of take this line and I drag it down just to the corner of where my crease is. Like that. So the next step on my new side is brows. So I'm going to go in with the lighter brown from the James Charles palette, and I am just going to, like the old one, mark my zones, and I'm going to draw basically straight up, this, and then straight out. And then for the top of the brow, I'm going to bring it in on almost a straight line and join it there. From here, I'm going to take the darker brown from the James Charles palette, and I'm going to start to put it on the tail end. Pull this out. And now I'm going to clean it up. So then I'm going to go in with my Mehron cream again, and I'm going to clean it. Clean it up. Like that. So this cream, I can just sort of blend out with my finger, and then go back in, clean up. The setting powder actually has a little bit of pigment to it, so I can use it to reblend out my brow at the end. It works as like a mid-pigmented white, but it remats everything. But then on the other side, I am not going to be using powder because what I used instead was just highlighter. So I'm going to be taking these highlighters and smearing them onto my brow bone. And then going in with the dark contour shade here and cleaning it up. And I'm taking off all of the setting powder now because I am pretty much done with the most of my eyes. And then the last step is just sort of taking a pale highlighter and sort of pressing it into the middle of my eye, right over my frickin' liner. That's fine. I'm just gonna put highlighter there for no reason because that's how I used to do it. And then on this side, I'm going to be taking my white and sort of creating this little ledge, like that. And I sort of drag this back. So I'm going to take my liner and I'm going to go and sort of map out that shape. And then I'm going to go in with some purple. And just smoke that underneath again. And then the last step for the sort of eye makeup is I'm going to take this white cream and clean up this edge here. So on this side, I'm just going to sort of take my lip and then on the other side, I'm going to take it out like a crescent. Down and on a little curve. Then I'm going to take it on the bottom, right up to the top here. Now I'm going to take this sort of shimmery purple lipstick from Lime Crime And I'm gonna go in on the other side. I'm gonna go in. And then I'm going to take this sort of blue lipstick from Lime Crime and I'm gonna go in. And basically and taking a little bit of white. And there we go. So then for nose contour, I'm going to go in with this shade here, and I'm just sort of going to trace along the top here and make an angled shape like this. And then on the other side, I'm going to take the dark shade and sort of lay it on the side of my nose. So my old way, I put the whole side of my nose and it made my nose like really wide, where on this side of my face, it would shave it down a little bit. So on my old face, white highlighters looked really nice on me because my face was lighter, but now with my more honeyed texture, white highlighters look a lot like chalk on me. It looks like I put it just looks like I put setting powder where the highlighter is. So for the old side of my face, I'm going to go and take a little bit of white highlight, put it on. I've always sort of done highlighter with fingers. And then on the other side, I'm going to take this golden highlighter and start to swatch that on. I put it in a couple other spots as well. I put it right on the top of my lip, and I can only do one side, so I'm going to go and put it here and a little bit on my nose. So the old elixir was entirely against blush. I just didn't think there was really a need for it on my face. But my opinions have changed. I know now that it really warms up my face and it adds a lot of, it actually does something with this weird odd space that's here. So I'm gonna put some blush on this side and none over here, even though it probably desperately needs some. Has anybody seen that Arthur flick where it's like, where DW is talking and she's just like, I don't need makeup, I'm already beautiful. But Francine doesn't have any and she sure could use some. Fucking icon. That is iconic. And honestly, DW, thank you. Teaching us how to be shady from very young ages. So the old elixir also, for some reason, was completely against lip gloss. I just found it bothersome. But now, I think it's like one of like the most simple and nice things you can do to just like glam up a look. So this is basically almost the finished face. I'm going to put some lashes on and stones on off camera, and I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look. And this is the finished look. The finishing touch, I'm just going to put on a little bit of setting spray to help make this all look like skin again. So this is my more updated face. It's a little bit, the eye is a lot bigger, the crease is a lot bigger. I use a lot larger stacked lashes now than I used to. I use 3 to 4, where the old ones was either 1 or 2. And I have a little bit more of a toned down face, a little bit more of a soft, like feminine face, whereas on this side it is very carved out and very old drag. So The brows are obviously a lot nicer on this side than on this side. There is a lot of crust and weird texture that is not so much on this side. And also, as I said, like the shadows will not pick up on that much Mehron cream. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing me get pretty here and not so much over here. I had a lot of fun filming this. I haven't actually thought about going back and trying to do my old makeup style for a long time, which is good. It's always the most satisfying the further back your makeup style is when you do a challenge like this, because if I was only going like 5 or 6 months back, it wouldn't be as huge of a transformation from side to side. I had a lot of fun filming this video, so if you enjoyed it, just leave a like below and a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I make more content, and hit that bell notification so that you know every time I post, because I want you guys to come and watch my videos very much. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys, so I will see you next time.